Reciprocal transformation is one of the methods that can be used in SPSS to transform data that are negatively skewed. So when you have a negative skewed data and you want to do a parametric test, you can't proceed with parametric test until you try to resolve the distribution of the data, as parametric test required that the data are normally distributed. And reciprocal transformation, one of the options that can be used to attempt to transform non-normal negative skewed data to normally distributed data. In this data view in SPSS, on the left hand side I have a data that are labeled NS, stands for negatively skewed. I had already checked the distribution of the data and found this data to be negatively skewed, so it is not normally distributed. And shortly I'm going to show you how to do exploration of the data and find whether the data are normally distributed or not. So the way to do that is to click on Analyze, Descriptive, click on Explore. I'm going to reset this. I'm going to move the data labeled NS into the dependent list. I'm going to click on the plots and tick the stem, tick the histogram, as I'm going to view the data in a histogram, and also I'm going to look at normality plots with tests, so using statistically tests to determine the normality distribution of the data. Click on Continue, then click on OK. An output will be generated with tables. The one in the middle, labeled Descriptive, showed that there is a skewness in this data, and the skewness is minus 0.73, and the standard error is 0.23. So these data are negatively skewed. And looking at the table below, again, test of normality using these two common tests showed that the data are not normally distributed. So this descriptive analysis established that the data we have are negatively skewed and the distribution are not normal. And to proceed with this data for statistical analysis, if the plan to use a parametric test, then transformation of the data is essential to try to transform the data from being not normal to normally distributed, and attempt to revert the data from not normal distribution to normal distribution. So there are few options for transforming the data, so it can be used for parametric test, and those options are to use either log10 transformation, square root transformation, and or reciprocal transformation. For negatively skewed data, to do a reciprocal transformation, you have to do first a prerequisite step, which is called data reflection. The data has to be reflected prior to do reciprocal transformation. And the way to do data reflection is to click on Transform, click on Compute Variable, and then I'm going to label the target variable as reflection. And I'm going to use a formula here in the numeric expression for data reflection. And to do data reflection, first of all, we need to find the maximum value in the data. So here from this table descriptive, the maximum value for the data is 1.26. So if we type 1.26, I'm going to add 1 to it, then going to subtract this from every individual scores within this data. So to do reflection, you find the maximum value, add to it 1, then subtract value for each individual scores in the data. If I click on the OK icon, I get a column in the data view. This column is generated and labeled as reflection. If we examine and explore the distribution of this reflected data, we can see here that reflection has changed the data to become skewness to positive 0.732. So now we've done the reflection as a first step. To do reciprocal transformation is as following. Click on transform, click on compute variable, reset this, and then we call it, I'm going to call the target variable as inversion. And in the numeric expression, we're going to type 1 divided by the reflected data. So to do reciprocal transformation, 1 divided by the reflected data. Click on the OK. Data view SPSS has generated a column labeled inversion. So data has been transformed, and to examine the distribution of this data, I'm going to click on explore and then move the column generated called inversion into the dependent list and click on OK. I'm going to compare the data before transformation. The skewness was minus 0.73. Post transformation, using reciprocal transformation, the skewness is reduced to minus 0.42. And looking at normality tests generated by SPSS and calculated by the software, shows here the reciprocal transformation has really transformed the data from being negatively skewed to normally distributed, and thus will permit using parametric tests. Just to mention a point here, instead of doing reciprocal transformation in 2 steps, reflection and then doing the inversion, it is possible to combine both in 1 step. And the way to do that is to click on transform, compute variable, and then I'm going to call that reciprocal direct, is to use the numeric expression 1 divided by the maximum value, which is 1.26, adding 1 to it, subtracting the value in the neat unchanged data from negatively data. So here in this, I'm going to do in reciprocal transformation and data reflection simultaneously on the negatively skewed data. And if I click the button or the icon for OK, a column will be generated. Again, as we can see, the value for reciprocal direct using 1 combined step and 2 separate steps, we can see that the value for inversion is the same. So This is how to do reciprocal transformation in SPSS for a data that are negatively skewed.